Okay, this is a hard piece of paper to hang. And if I were no good at hanging paper, I would not show you how to do this because I would be making a bunch of mistakes. We have to meet this piece of paper up with this. These are all. That piece of paper at the top is separate from this piece of paper here. This is only 22 inches here. That's 22 inches. Now, I have to join the top of this piece of paper with both cuts, okay? And when the pattern is meeting up edge to edge, it's critical that you take into account the contraction of the paper, any belly in the wall. You have to work it out to see where it lays. And sometimes, don't be hard on yourself, the paper sometimes doesn't match up. And why is that? It's because if there's a belly in the wall, a slight one, the paper's not going to match up. It's not going to match up. So you might adjust the hanging of your paper starting on the belly. So you have to go around your walls. You got to feel your walls to see if there's anything that's going to cause, especially around penetrations, windows. You're not going to be able to do anything when you got straightaway walls. But when you're going around a window or a fireplace or something, or something in the middle where you have to join the top piece with the bottom piece, feel the wall, make sure that there's no bellies. If there is, you want most of that paper to be covering that, it's called something. It's called a whip. There could be a whip where it goes in or a belly where it comes out. Okay, so now I don't like the fact that it's getting dry. I'm going to wet it a little bit. Wetting it helps. Number one, it's going to stick. Two, it's going to slide. And I need it to slide. Again, I'm using this really good glue. I'm going to put it around my penetrations at the bottom, in the corner. These are all of the places where your paper pulls away from where you hang it in a few months after the heat and cold. So now, do you cut the corner? That's another question that I'll answer in a little while if I remember. So now, it's got to match up, right? So you just watch me. I'm going to try to work this and you just see what I'm doing. See, I got to keep this. These wrinkles mean it's not all straight. Now I can go by the paper itself. The paper has this lavender checkered thing going on. If I bring that into the corner, well then I know that I'm straight with my paper. Let's see if doing that, and it may not work, but let's see if that is sufficient for working the level line. So I got to pull it off and put the edge of that box in the corner, or at the corner, just at the corner. Takes a lot of working this stuff out. Okay, so without using a level just yet, even if I use a level and your corners are never on point, if I use a level, it's straight. If I cut my corner, I'm going to overlap the paper and mess it up aesthetically. You're better off not cutting it. When you have a pattern like this, where you got checkered boxes one up against another, you'd be silly to cut it because you might lose 1/4 of an inch of pattern from the top to the bottom to make the line level. You understand what I mean? So you're better off not cutting it. It all depends whether it depends on the paper you're hanging to determine whether or not you're going to cut that thing. See, I got a lot going on here. I still have to work out this unevenness. So, okay, so now I'm going to cut my paper. And I'm not going to cut it too much. I'm going to give myself some play here. I want to feel for where I need it. I'm just taking the stress off of this corner. If I cut it too far here, I got to tear in my paper after I hang it. I'm pretty confident that I won't need that paper that I just cut. I don't cut it, I cut it on the marble thing. I'm gonna cut it on the marble. There's a reason for it. I might cut away too much paper. So don't cut your paper prematurely. You need to know where your paper is hanging. All right. Wait, I almost overcut it, but I didn't. It fits right in there so far. All right, so let me see where my pattern finishes here. I'm looking for this flower. That's low. I gotta bring this thing up. Okay, that's where it ends. Okay, now. Okay, so. Hold on a second. All right. Now, there's a tough piece of paper to cut. I'm working both sides of it. I'm working both sides of it, and it's really giving me a hard time. So I'm overlapping here. My corner is really off. It's throwing me off here. This is a tough piece to cut. But if I do it well, the wallpaper is going to look beautiful. All right, my left seam is working. I'm hanging it left to right. I'm going with my left seam. So far, so good. Working it left to right. All right, what I might have to do is bring this piece all the way back up to the top to make it. We'll see. I'm going to keep working at it. Okay, I'm going to try that, see how she goes up at the top. Oh, this is a particularly tough sheet of paper to hang. I might wind up cutting my corner if I can't make it look perfect. To get all the air out of it. It's tricky. Okay. Now, we have some play here. We can push these wrinkles over to the left. Now, I want to cut this so that take some tension off the paper by cutting it. Can you see it, what I'm doing?
Yeah.
They're not looking at my back. All right, without messing up the left seam, I was able to work this paper. This is a very advanced part of hanging paper, what I'm doing right here. This is where the homeowner quits, because it's very difficult to match. Look what we're trying to match. We're trying to match one seam, one at the bottom, trying to keep the third issue is keeping this line straight. And by the time most people get done with this, they quit. They just say, forget, it's too difficult. But actually, if you just have a little patience, you'll see how it works out. I can already see it coming into working out. It's not easy, don't get me wrong. This is not easy, but you can do this. It's just matching a pattern and just working with it. Okay, here we come back down to the bottom. Let me try to get this out. Right. Oh, that worked out. That was nice. I lifted it. Came out. It's frustrating around these corners, man. Alright, now we want to play with this. We want to keep these wrinkles and work them out this way. Work them out to the edge. Trying to stretch the paper and pull that paper over the surface of the wall without redoing the left seam. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to take it off again. If you just lift the paper, you can avoid crushing down on wrinkles. These wrinkles, if you push the paper down on top of them, you'll have a permanent wrinkle mark. I don't know if you can see in this video, there's a bunch of wrinkles that I'm working out as I'm doing this. Very tough, this piece. So far, so good. It looks like we got a piece of paper hung, but this was a very difficult piece to hang. The reason why you have so many wrinkles here is because you're going from one wall to another, number one. You're transitioning from the top piece down and meeting the bottom piece. If you didn't have to meet that piece, there would be no wrinkles. These wrinkles are about working the paper so that the pattern meets up. But because we have this penetration here in the window, we can push all these wrinkles out and stretch them. You pull the paper back off, put more glue down, and it makes it slippery, workable, and these wrinkles come out. But it requires patience, and you got to keep working it. All right, so you can clip it now. I'll have to edit that one.